Earlier this month, actress Kristen Stewart appeared as host on Saturday Night Live, and in the course of giggling out a junior high school level list of reasons that Donald Trump wouldn't like her, let slip that she was gay. Predictably, the Huffington Post ran an op-ed titled, "Kristen Stewart Called Herself So Gay on SNL. Here's Why It Matters." The subheadline read, "It was a radical opportunity to challenge and change minds." No, it wasn't, and Kristen Stewart being gay doesn't matter. After several paragraphs of fawning praise, the article concludes, quote, "Regardless, I had to catch my breath when I heard her say it last night. I'm proud of Stewart for standing up and joining the community in a way she hadn't before, especially at a time when our community is hurting and scared. Coming out doesn't happen just once, and it's rarely easy, because heterosexuality is still the assumed default orientation in our society. Every time a queer person meets someone new, there's a chance they'll be required to explain who they truly are, and in that moment exists the radical opportunity to challenge and change minds." Last night, I believe Stewart probably did both, and I think we're a little better off because of it. All right, let's unpack this statement. First of all, heterosexuality is assumed to be the default because it is the default. Second, why on earth is the revelation of a celebrity being gay something that makes you have to pause and catch your breath? Ellen DeGeneres and Rosie O'Donnell, both certified lesbians, have had successful daytime talk shows, and daytime talk shows are, by their very nature, designed to appeal to the heart of middle America. That, more than anything, is a sure sign that the LGBT community has been accepted by the mainstream. Even if we narrow the focus to just lesbian celebrities, there's the aforementioned O'Donnell and DeGeneres, along with Tig Notaro, Meredith Baxter, Portia de Rossi, Annie DeFranco, the Indigo Girls, Billie Jean King, Katie Lang, Kristana Loken, Jodie Foster, Jane Lynch, Rachel Maddow, Marina Navratilova, Cynthia Nixon, Ellen Page, Sally Ride, Wanda Sykes, Lily Tomlin, and many, many more. Someone being gay is not groundbreaking in this day and age, and you know it. Next, you think your community is hurting and scared? Last time I checked, about 55% of the country was hurting and scared in the light of a Donald Trump presidency. At a time when you could be joining your fellow Americans in opposition to Donald Trump, you instead use your fear to further isolate and alienate yourself from your fellow Americans. I know it's tempting to try and shift focus from the L to T and make this about trans persons, but no, that aspect of LGBT culture is still in its initial stage of mainstream acceptance. But being regular old garden variety gay ranks up there with Kenny G and Michael Bolton in terms of envelope pushing. Let me pause for a moment for the inevitable hand-holding that kills the rhythm of an otherwise fluid piece. I am not anti-gay. My opinion of homosexuals and the pursuit of gay rights is essentially the same as what's outlined in David Allan Coe's 1978 classic Fuck Anita Bryant. I'm proud to say that having spent most of my life in the entertainment industry, I can truthfully say that some of my best friends are gay. Also, Bailey J. is one of the most beautiful women alive, and tough shit if you don't like it. I can remember the high school I went to 20 years ago in Oxford, Mississippi, where the only openly gay kid had to be escorted by a teacher from class to class to prevent bullying. I can remember being a child growing up in the Atlanta area where my parents took me to a very pro-gay church, and in the early 1980s, that meant that we were losing about a friend a week. I found out from my parents later as an adult that the reason we quit going to that church was because a new board of directors had taken over and voted to fire the organist because he had AIDS. I would never negate the progress that's been made in the name of LGBT rights. But it's precisely because of that progress that Kristen Stewart coming out as gay doesn't matter. And if, like me, you kind of thought she slipped into the role of Joan Jett a little too well, it's hardly surprising. A rich, affluent, attractive, one-percenter white girl coming out as gay is about the least establishment-threatening thing since the last Mannheim Steamroller album. Face it, liberals, conservatives have made peace with gaiety. Donald Trump even commended them for it when he accepted the Republican nomination. And I even believe him. I think that it was a rare moment of candor. Nevertheless, the social justice left continues to obsess over identity politics rather than look up long enough to address Donald Trump's real issues, namely his daily displays of amateur incompetence, his pompous belief that he can use executive orders to rule by edict, the fact that despite being one of the wealthiest and most powerful people in the world, he still gets caught up in inane Twitter bitch fests, his strange ability to alienate all of our most important allies while cozying up to our enemies, enemies, and the way in which he promoted Steve Bannon to a bizarrely powerful new office in a manner that chillingly parallels Adolf Hitler's rise to power. So why does the left continue to fight Donald Trump in this manner, hurling accusations as if that's somehow going to stop him? I think I have some idea. Go read Hyperbole and a Half, the website by cartoonist and satirist Ali Brosh, who proves not only that women can be funny, but that there's at least one that's side-splittingly fall out of your chair, tears in your eyes, hilarious. When you get done reading her best work like The Party, How a Fish Almost Ruined My Childhood, 7 Games You Can Play with a Brick, and The God of Cake, take a look at her story called Please Stop. Much like much of Brosh's humor, it's a look back at her childhood where she recalls an elementary teacher who taught the students to say please stop whenever they wanted someone to stop doing something that's hurtful. Inevitably, the kids start abusing the request to get whatever they want. In the end, the kids realize that having a command that dead halts the situation doesn't resolve the conflict, and they have to learn how to do things like compromise and come to an agreement to solve their problems. In other words, it forced them to grow up. Political correctness and an academic atmosphere of postmodernism so pervasive it's a wonder we still have a concept known as a failing grade has created a whole generation of adults that don't understand that Please Stop was not a workable long-term solution. In the modern day, Please Stop has taken the form of calling someone racist or sexist or homophobic, etc., etc. Another form, which I discussed on previous video, is mansplaining. These words come with an expectation that once the accusation is levied, the receiving party is to renounce their position and supplicate immediately. Sorry, but even if you're accurately accusing someone of being those things, it doesn't mean that they have to accommodate you, and shouting please stop doesn't mean people have to give you what you want. And for another hand-holding moment, I'm only saying that in reference to using please stop to manipulate people into getting what you want, not when you're genuinely asking them to not do something that's actually harmful to you. I bring all this up because it's been the cultural left's MO in the fight against Donald Trump, and it won't work. Telling Donald Trump you're gay won't change anything, and it's not some kind of outreach to teenagers already questioning their sexuality. Stop trying to prove that Donald Trump holds objectionable opinions or outmoded attitudes. You're allowed to do that if you want, even when you're president. Instead of wasting everyone's time with this whiny identity politics garbage, focus on the things Trump is not allowed to do, nearly all of which he's already doing. Kind regards, Jordan. If you enjoyed this commentary, please help me continue to bring you more content by making a donation to patreon.com/JordanOwen42. Your contribution will help me turn this channel into a hub of libertarian pop culture discussion and current events commentary. Thank you for listening, and as always, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already.